very gracious person and was always seemed to be calm and never got terribly excited about things, but she enjoyed being with people and being with her friends and sharing in conversation. And I felt very honored to be a part of her life and to have a chance to share with her a lot of ideas and things that we talked about. As I say, our study group went on for about 20 years, so that's quite a long time to be in conversation with someone. And she was just such a gracious person that I enjoyed very much being a part of her life, and I'm very delighted to be here and be part of this service with all of you here today. So thank you very much.
Thank you. At this point in time, someone else would like to say a few words. Start off with my cousin Bill Roberts, because I know I can get a few words out of Bill.
Hi. Aunt Paula was a very important part of my life. She was the sister of my mother, and my mother died in 1946. Paula and Grandma Mauser stepped forward and helped get us through that difficult time and helped raise us and get us to where we are now. And Polly was a wonderful lady.
Thank you, Bill. Somebody else like? Yeah. My sister Ruthie. Well, she lives in Africa, so she couldn't make it, and she really wanted to make it, but she wanted to at least impart her thoughts and memories of Grandma, and actually we're trying to record this so that we can send it to her so she can see Grandma's funeral. But my sister says, the first thing I remember is the fly swatter. It makes me smile now, as I'm well aware that I was something of a little shit. And I have no doubt I deserved every swat. I also know I am not the only one who remembers the fly swatter, PJ. And one of my favorite stories was hearing my uncle recount his own fly swatter experiences. We all share the fly swatter experiences. When I look back now as an adult, I notice how extraordinary so many things about my grandparents were. Things I took for granted as a child. My grandmother never bragged about her degree and her education. She didn't wear a class ring or leather jacket that proclaimed the valedictorian. But she was well into her mid-40s like so many other high school achievers. But then, as amazing as those accomplishments were, she didn't peak with them. She kept going. She kept learning every day of her life. The basis of my grandmother, a self-educated woman, is that she fought hard for every scrap of knowledge that she could grasp. Made it simply inconceivable to me that I would not get an education myself. In my English 101 class in college, my instructor asked me to explain a grammar rule that I had gotten correct and everyone else had missed. I couldn't explain it, I just knew it. Grandma demanded proper English from us, and we learned it organically. Except lay and lie. My last recorded correction misusing lay lie was in November of this year when I saw Grandma at EJ's house. I said, "Would you like to lay down for a rest, Grandma?" To which Grandma said, "No, I would like to lie down." You lie down, you lay down a book. I can't remember when Grandma took on my rather extreme loudness as a project, but I think it was birth. Grandma was inherently classy. She dressed well, she spoke well in public, she knew which fork to use, her furniture always looked well suited to the space it was in. She was an expert at hiding her real thoughts in political situation. She tried to impact this understanding to me, and I believe I have always longed to exhibit half the class Grandma had, but it somehow never took. I really was Lucy from the Charlie Brown comic strip, as she often said. Then one day when we lived in New Hampshire, I got one of Grandma's famous clippings. It was a copy of a page from a book, Scoring Off Jeeves by P.G. Wodehouse, which I'm sure she had run off while at the library. She had underlined a quote. She had a penetrating sort of laugh, rather like a train going into a tunnel. I don't think it was meant as a compliment, given the character about which it was uttered, but it was the last I ever heard about figuring out how to quiet myself down. The last time I saw her, she came into a room and said, "I know that laugh. I heard that and I knew it must be Ruthie in here." Grandma was present for 2 of my children's births, Sean and Jacob. For Sean, that meant flying to San Antonio, where Grandma proceeded to take a nap on the floor while I was in labor. It was a short nap. I had expressly forbidden any pictures during labor and delivery, but Grandma had brought her 110 camera and decided the event needed to be recorded. The midwife reminded my husband that I didn't want pictures in labor. Jacob's response was, "Well, we don't tell Grandma not to take pictures." In the end, it didn't matter, as she had inadvertently cut off everybody's head and shot him. Sean, who Grandma saw born, looked exactly like Grandma. While my heart yearns for the physical things that remind me of Grandma, it is the things like this that give me the most comfort. My favorite picture of Grandma is a studio shot. She was absolutely breathtaking. I show that picture to everyone who knows Sean. Grandma's face is in Sean's face. Grandma's notes and letters literally carpet her bedroom. She wrote voluminously. I think it was because she felt things so deeply, so very, very deeply. She was controlled and proper in public, but these things, she felt them and she had to release them, so she wrote them. When I write, I feel like I am my grandmother. Her release is also my release. When EJ takes everyone into her house on a moment's notice, drives my child to the airport, picks up my husband, gets birthday balloons for one of my kids at 7 a.m. before the kids wake up, or doesn't hesitate to offer a haven in case of Ebola, she is my grandma. EJ's care for family is my grandma's care for family. When Johnny reads about something that strikes an interest and he investigates it further, then informs everyone else what he found in painful detail, his quest for knowledge and his passing that knowledge on to everyone is Grandma. When PJ makes sure that we're all included in an email thread or a Facebook message, or passes on updates and texts so that everyone is up to date on something in the family, PJ's attempt to bring the family together is Grandma. We are all Grandma. Whatever religious beliefs we have, and our family has been overwhelmingly accepting of many beliefs, Grandma lives in us. In the Bible, Matthew 18:20, Jesus said, "For where 2 or 3 gather in my name, there I am." Where 2 or 3 of Grandma's family gather, there she is. Without a doubt, physically and mentally, there she is. And though she accomplished amazing things in her life, vast education, travel, a comfortable wealth, many friends and respect, I think this is what she considered her greatest achievement. Whether 2 or 3 of us gather, there she is.
Thank you, John. Anybody else? I'd like to thank all of you for coming out today, paying your tribute to John's and my mother, grandmother of many here, cousin of many, family member that was well respected in her family and beyond. And we invite you to join us out at the Airport Cafe. We originally told them 1 o'clock. Do you think 12:30 would be a problem, John?
I don't think so.
Okay, so you can meet us out at the Airport Cafe around 12:30 and join us in talking together, speaking together, and enjoying some little bit of food for our soul. Thank you very much once again for turning out. Godspeed.